We are on the cusp of another stimulus bill, but we might see a situation where if another round of checks and another stimulus bill gets passed, far fewer people will be eligible for the checks. And Biden has announced that he's actually open to this idea. So here's what's happening. Biden proposed his $1.9 trillion stimulus bill, and that included things like the $1,400 stimulus checks, funding for state and local governments, increased unemployment boost, an increase to the minimum wage, school funding, tons of different things in this huge comprehensive $1.9 trillion bill. And many Republicans and some Democrats don't agree with either the level of spending or certain areas. Now, the arguments are mostly focused in a few areas, things like $350 billion for state and local government funding. Many moderates and Republicans don't like that. The minimum wage increase is a huge area of debate. The fact that everyone is pretty much scared of Nancy Pelosi, just kidding. And the $1,400 stimulus check is kind of a piece of debate because the argument is that many people might receive this check who don't necessarily need money. Now, Biden has announced that he's open to giving this check to fewer people the next time around. And they would do so by lowering the income ceilings in order to be eligible for these checks. So right now, stimulus checks phase out from about $75,000 per year for single filers, and the check size decreases until you earn about $100,000 per year. And then for couples, it phases out at $150,000 a year until about $200,000 a year when that check reaches $0. And there's an idea floating around to cut these numbers down to something like a limit of $50,000 for individuals and $75,000 for couples. Now, those figures aren't set in stone. Those are just the figures that I saw floating around in some research backing these statements. So there are actually many people who are all for this idea, limiting the stimulus checks to only the lowest income people. And the main reasons for it are it would make the bill cost significantly less, like about $200 billion less. And research shows that people on the high end of income for stimulus checks spend very little of the check. So they're saying of that $200 billion in extra cost, only about $15 billion of it would actually go back into the economy because these higher income earners just aren't spending it. And this is an issue because it doesn't help the velocity of money. The whole point of stimulus is to stimulate the economy. We want people who receive the money and then they spend it on businesses or goods or services. And then that just churns in the economy, helps with jobs, helps businesses. Everything gets a little bit better because this money is flowing through. Now, if you just receive the check and it just goes into your bank account or you pay off some debt, that doesn't necessarily help the velocity of money like it would if you were to purchase groceries or some good or service. In contrast to the highest earners, research shows that 88% of the lowest income earners intend to spend their entire stimulus check on goods and services. Now, I'd be happy to do a much more in-depth video on the actual research behind this. If you're interested, let me know in the comments because we don't have enough time in this quick update. So these numbers, of course, make sense. Those who have money on average are going to spend less money if they get an extra $1,200, $1,400 in their bank account. And if you have nothing in your bank account, odds are you're going to spend the stimulus check. So what are your thoughts on this? Is it better to just get the deal done even if it means fewer total people receive it? I'm curious, what are your opinions on this? So I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.